Hello, people of the internet. My name is Patricia. I'm a pilgrim here in Santiago de Compostela, where I just arrived a couple of days ago from my second Camino. I did the Camino Frances 6 years ago, and now I just completed the Portuguese route a couple of days ago, which was very different, but also very beautiful. It's really impossible to compare any two Caminos. But anyway, I'm here to talk about packing because I'm leaving Santiago tomorrow. So I just laid out all my stuff here on the bed, and I sort of decided to do an impromptu video about it because I know that's a big part of anyone's Camino planning, and I know there's a lot of questions about it, especially if you're getting ready for your first Camino. I know I had a bunch of questions and wasn't sure exactly what to bring, what not to bring. So I just wanted to offer my own take on it and talk a little bit about the things that worked for me, the things that didn't, and hopefully help you prepare your own backpack and make it as light as possible. Because the first cardinal rule, in my opinion, when you're packing for the Camino is making it as light as possible. There's a saying that I heard someone on the Camino say once, that your backpack has the weight of your fears. And I think there's a lot of truth to that, because it's always like, oh, what if I need this? I'm just going to toss that in there. What if I need that? And then, it's always about that sort of anxiety about needing something and not having it, and then end up with a huge backpack that's going to be way too much for you to carry. It's going to cause you pain, and it's just like unnecessary, because on the Camino, for the most part, there's always going to be a place where you can purchase whatever thing you might need or you think you might need. So it's really about making it as light as possible. My second Camino, I managed to pack a lighter backpack than on my first Camino, but I still, looking back now, there's still things that I would have done differently and packed a little less to make it even lighter. So when you're packing for your Camino, just remember that you're going to be carrying your backpack for 800 kilometers. If you're doing the Camino Frances, a little less if you're doing the Camino Portuguese, or whatever route you decide, you're going to be carrying your backpack for most of the day. So just remember that every ounce counts. Every little thing that you think you might need, it adds up. And I think, and I can speak from experience, like from my first Camino and from other backpacking trips as well, like everything individually doesn't seem like much, but when you add up and suddenly you have 10, 12 kilos on your back and you're carrying it for the whole day, at the end of the day, you just destroyed like your back, your hips, your knees. Like you don't need that. So I'm here to hopefully help and talk a little bit and be as brief as I can. I don't know if I can be brief. This is my first YouTube video. I don't even know how this is going to come out. I don't even know if I'm going to post it. But hopefully it can help whoever is looking to pack for the Camino or get some information about what to pack and how to pack. I can talk a little bit about that. So without further ado, here we go. Also, I'm probably gonna have to edit this a lot, but obviously what you pack for the Camino is gonna vary depending on what time of the year you're going. It's gonna vary, I suppose, if you're a guy or if you're a girl, you're gonna bring slightly different things. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, but there are some things that are sort of like pilgrim uniforms, if you will. So yeah, let's get started with it. I just laid everything here. It's not a lot, but it, like I said, it adds up. So okay, let us begin. I don't even know where to start. I'm getting really self-conscious thinking that somebody might watch this, so it's like, it's weird. But here we go. Maybe we should start with this. My sleeping bag, which is for sure bulkier than most pilgrims' sleeping bags, and that's because I tend to get cold. I know that about myself, so I invested. This was like an expensive REI $300 sleeping bag. So it's relatively lightweight, but it packs kind of bulky. It's in a compression sack right now, so it's like compressed as much as I could, but it's warm. like it will keep you warm. We can talk about brands, and I can do like recommendations of that if anyone is interested. But most pilgrims will have a sleeping bag that packs about half this size, and that's enough for them. So that's just me. That's my bulkiest item for sure. And I think probably my heaviest, aside from the toiletry bag, which probably deserves a video on its own, because if you want to talk item by item, that can take time. So this is my sleeping bag. There's a compartment in your backpack for it, but just know yourself and know what you need. And then obviously if you're going in the summer, you definitely don't need this. But since for both my Caminos I was walking end of September until end of October, it was getting cold at night, and a lot of the albergues don't turn on the heat because they don't want people hanging their clothes to dry there, and also because it adds up, I guess, a lot to their electricity bill. And since they're charging so little, I mean, you kind of have to be understanding. But that's just for me because I know I get cold, so it's just. And that's again if you're staying at albergues, because if you choose to stay at little hotels or little bed and breakfasts, they're gonna have, you know, blankets and duvets and stuff, so you might not even need something like this if you're not planning on staying at the albergues. So it's really up to you. But for me, I know I tend to get cold, so this is a slightly warmer sleeping bag. I can talk about sleeping bags if anyone's interested, but this is like my bulkiest item, and it weighs almost a pound, something like that. It looks heavier than it is. It's just bulky, like it takes up room. So that's like the main thing. People ask if they should bring a sleeping bag. I would say most definitely, unless you're planning on staying at hotels throughout, then you won't need it. But that also, in my opinion, that also leaves less room for spontaneity. Is that how you say this word? Spontaneity. You can't be as spontaneous, because sometimes you're going to be in such a small village, or they might just have an albergue, a municipal albergue where they don't even have blankets, so you might need something to cover yourself with. But again, that's sort of like the main thing. I think all pilgrims travel with a sleeping bag, just in case you don't have yours. Doesn't have to be this bulky. This is just me because I get cold, and again, like I said, I can talk about it if anyone's interested, like open it up and show it. And you know, that's the sleeping bag. As far as clothing, I feel like this is getting like too long already. I don't know how to like shorten it and be succinct, because I'm just gonna ramble on, and I apologize if this gets too long and you don't want to watch it. That's okay. My mom will watch it, I'm sure. Anyway, as far as clothing goes, so what I brought for this Camino, I brought 3 long-sleeved t-shirts. So these 2 and the one I'm wearing right now. I brought 1 short-sleeve t-shirt, and I bought another one when I started my Camino down in Porto, which ended up being unnecessary because it got cold pretty quickly, and I just carried it for, you know, for most of the time when I didn't have to, because I thought 1 was going to be enough, and then I got there and it was really hot. So my mom was walking with me. She convinced me to buy another one, and she bought another one for me. So now I was traveling with 2 short-sleeved t-shirts and 3 long-sleeved ones. So for the sake of being brief, I would take one of these out because I really didn't need it. So I would bring, for the time of year that I was traveling, 1 short-sleeved. This is short, and it's like Quechua. It dries pretty quickly. That's very important to keep in mind, is to invest in clothes that dries quickly, because you know, the weather, sometimes it's raining, sometimes they might not have a dryer, sometimes you're gonna have to hang the stuff outside of your backpack. Or sometimes if you're staying a little inn or a little hotel, they might have a blow dryer, so at night you're going to be like blow drying your clothes so you can wear it the next day. That's part of pilgrim life. That's okay. So yeah, so this is like another thing that I would suggest. If you have the money, or if you can save the money, is to invest in quality stuff, because it's going to make your Camino a lot more comfortable. And I also learned that the hard way, because I want to be cheap and save everywhere I can. I did that on my first Camino. I did it now as well. And this is something that I learned on a trip a while ago about merino wool. I'm sure a lot of you know about it. This is merino, I think. It's from Decathlon, but it wasn't like a fancy merino. If you know about merino wool, it looks like cotton, but it's very breathable and you can wear it for days and it's not gonna smell. Like you don't have to wash it as often as other fabrics. So they're basically very expensive if you get like genuine merino. Or I don't know a whole lot about it. I just know I got a t-shirt like that from my dad, and it was like $80 or something. It was pretty expensive for just a t-shirt, but it works really, really well. This is like, I don't know, the Decathlon merino. It's not super fancy, but I guess it did the job. I didn't wear it very much, like I said, because it got cold. And this is like, I don't know what the fabric is called, but it's like sort of like that stretchy material that dries pretty quickly, but you do have to wash it more often. So I had 3 of these. One I usually kept to wear it as like pajamas at night, as well as with these pants. These are like fleece lined, like underwear, I guess you call them. So I would wear this at night, like with this. I didn't bring pajamas because it's just extra stuff to carry. So I like to have, obviously, who doesn't like to have clean clothes to sleep in after a tiring, sweaty walking day. So yeah, I just usually kept like 1 clean t-shirt to sleep in. So 3 long sleeved. This is again the one that I'm wearing right now is the REI one. It's the fancy one. It's expensive. It's not merino. I don't know what this is called, but it's like it has like an inner lining that absorbs sweat. So it's one of those that you can wear for days, maybe not a week, but you can wear for a few days without washing it, and it's not gonna smell because it sucks the moisture from your body as you're walking, so it's pretty comfortable. So I wore this. I think this is the one I wore the most, and it was also the more expensive one, so that's what I'm saying. It kind of pays. This was, I don't remember, I used this on my first Camino. I think it was like $70 or something. It wasn't cheap, but you know, it's useful. So that's that as far as t-shirt goes. Next item is a fleece. I would say this is a must. Doesn't have to be a big fleece or a thick fleece. Fleece. Take 37, fleece. My mom brought this for me on the first Camino because she walked the last 300 kilometers from León to Santiago with me, and she brought it, and it was very, very useful. I brought it on this Camino as well. I use it to sleep in when it's extra cold. I use it to walk in. It dries pretty quickly. Whoever invented fleece was a very smart person, because this is a very cool fabric, and this wasn't expensive. It was quechua as well. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but yeah, a fleece for this time of year I would definitely recommend. And then as an extra layer, a windbreaker or rain jacket, whatever you will. I bought this on the Camino. I had one in LA where I live. I didn't bring it, and I ended up buying one. So this pack's really light. It's just a rain jacket that's basically, they have like fancier ones. It's a rain jacket slash, oh, it's shiny here. I wonder why. It's a rain jacket slash windbreaker, and it works pretty well. If it's extra cold, you put the fleece underneath. You don't need anything else. That's good enough. So rain jacket, check. These, my mom insisted I bring them. I didn't think I was gonna need them. I definitely needed gloves when I crossed the Pyrenees because it was super cold and windy and rainy. This time on the Portuguese Camino, for this time of year, I think I wore them a couple times just to say that I wore them. I didn't really need them. So yeah, that's really up to you. This is something that I would probably not bring the next time, unless you're going mid to late September and you're planning on crossing that mountain, which is a whole other thing to talk about. But yeah, I wouldn't really bring gloves again. This definitely, I would bring both for this time of year. Obviously, if you're going in the summer, just the hat, the cap. I use both a lot during this time because we had a lot of sunny days and then we had a lot of cold days as well. So this might look a little silly and heavy, but I did use it. And it's important to cover your ears and your head. It's where you lose heat from. So if you're walking in the cold and in the rain, it's nice to have something over your head. And in the sun, obviously, doesn't have to be a cap. It can be any sort of hat, anything that's like gonna protect your head from the sun. Because I did walk without it once and it was very hot and I had like a massive headache at the end of the day, and I think I got, I don't know how it's called, I don't know in English. In Portuguese, I'm Brazilian, so in Portuguese we call it insolação, like heat stroke, something like that. Like it was just not good, so bring a cap. Yeah. Socks. So I probably would have packed my socks differently. I have here 3 REI socks. They are all very thick because I thought that's what I needed. On my first Camino, I didn't really remember what kind of socks I had, but I had really, this time I brought really thick socks because I wanted to avoid blisters, and I thought it was important to invest in quality socks. So I think this pair cost me like $20, which was like, it's okay, it's gonna be worth it because it's gonna protect I got blisters anyway. And these take forever to dry. They're like wool with something, I don't know. But I got this for free from a guy. So that's another story. Like I bought, God, this is so long. I'm sorry. This video is too long. My hiking, long story short, my hiking shoes that I got at REI a week before I came on this Camino, started hurting me quite a bit, to the point where I had to get new shoes. Like I couldn't walk with them anymore. They were hurting me. They were giving me blisters and I just couldn't anymore. So I shipped them back to California, where I intend to return them to REI, and I bought new ones at a store in Tui. So I bought these ones, which were much lighter and more comfortable than the previous ones I had, and they're also waterproof. That's very important. I think, you know, that's an important tip for anyone going on the Camino. You don't need big fancy hiking boots. Get comfortable shoes, but make sure they're waterproof because you're going to be in the rain for sure. Unless, I guess, you're going in the summer, but I don't know. I never walked the Camino in the summer. So the guy that sold me those basically gave me the socks for free, and they're very comfy. They're thinner, they're dry, they dry quicker. Anyway, that wasn't a very interesting pose. But yeah, this is just, there's too much going on here. So I would bring maybe 1 pair of like thicker ones, and maybe just another one, or maybe 2 pairs of like something like this that's also comfortable. They're cushioning in the places where they're supposed to have cushion, and they dry quicker than this guy's here. This is useful if it's super cold, but it was unnecessary. So that's that with the socks. A flashlight. If you're staying at the albergues, you might find this very useful, like at night or in the morning. I'm not a morning person, so for me it's at night. If you come in, if you come in a little bit late, there's going to be people sleeping already. You don't want to turn the light on their face. That's super rude. Some people do that, but I just use this, you know, just like a headlight. You turn it on. If you want to go to the bathroom, or if you know, whatever. It's just it's something to have at the albergues. I find it helpful. Also, if you're planning, like a lot of people do, I don't like to walk when it's dark, but if you do, like some people leave at the crack of dawn, or they like to walk like in the sunset. Obviously, if you're with a bunch of people, I think that's a good idea. For a girl by myself, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being extra cautious, but I wouldn't want to be in the dark alone. I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe not. But a flashlight, I find it useful. I've used it on both my Caminos. So you don't have to have a headlight. It can be like a teeny tiny flashlight. Or you know, you can even use these days a flashlight on your cell phone. So you might not even need this, now that I think of it. I had it, so I packed it and I used it. So that's that. Sunglasses, definitely important. This, you know, should go unsaid. Obviously, if you have reading glasses, bring those too. This is sort of like a given. Like you're walking outside the whole day. Yes, bring sunglasses. Don't forget that. Ta-da-da. How do you call this? Rain cover. A rain cover. This is something my mom brought already, and it's very, very useful because we walked in the rain a lot. So even though I had these, sometimes it was cold and windy, you put this over this. So when you take the rain cover out, this was dry, so you can go in, have a cup of coffee. You don't have to take it all out because it's wet. So this is something you can buy on the Camino. You don't have to bring it. But again, depending on the time of year you're coming, I think you will find it very useful to have a rain cover. I'm not gonna unpack this because it's a bit of a pain to put it back in this little bag. But yeah, I think that's a useful tip for the time of year when I walked. I'm just piling up this mess here. I'm gonna have to pack in a little bit. Anyway, a towel. Again, if you're sleeping at the albergues, you're gonna need a towel. I saw pilgrims at the albergues, and I don't want to be critical or judgmental of anybody, but I think obviously as you travel more and you backpack and you become a slightly, not too experienced, but a slightly more experienced pilgrim, you will learn to pack lighter. So definitely bring one of these towels. They're like camping towels. I don't know what they're called. Maybe they're called camping towels, but they're not super comfortable, but they dry quickly and they pack very lightly. Because what I was gonna say is that I saw pilgrims with like regular bath towels in the albergues, and then they're like shoving them in their backpack in the morning. They're not dry, and it's just a pain in the ass. Or you see them like walking around with their towel hanging over their backpack, like on the outside. Don't do that. Be smart. Just buy one of these. They have it at like sporting stores. They have it, you know, in a bunch of places. Again, they will do their job. They'll absorb the water from your body. They're not super fun or comfortable, but like I said, they do the job for the Camino. They dry fast. They'll be dry in the morning. Even if it's cold and rainy outside, they'll dry if you hang them by your bunk, and then you can just pack them in the morning. So these are very useful to have. Again, if you're staying at the albergues, get ready for snoring. I could make a whole video just about that and the different perspectives on that. You know, should the snorers get their own room, or should the people who are bothered by it get their own separate private room? That's like an ever-going debate amongst pilgrims. But if you decide to stay at an albergue, just know that you're gonna have to put up with snoring. You know, if you're lucky and you get like maybe a private albergue that has smaller rooms, you might be sharing with only maybe like 3 or 4 other people. Maybe you're gonna get lucky, there's gonna be no snorers. But for the most part, you are gonna get snorers, and some of them are very loud. So I have a bunch of stories about that, but it's gonna be way too long. So I don't know why I have 2 of these. So again, stupid. I think maybe I brought one for my mom, but she doesn't even care about this. This is like eye masks for the albergues, because again, at the albergues, sometimes if you're sleeping either in the morning or in the evening, people will just turn the light on you. They don't care. So these are helpful. So that's that. And also, like I was saying, for the snorers, I don't know if you can see this, these are earplugs. This might be helpful unless they're super loud, but I found this helpful. A lot of people, if you're staying at the albergues and you're a light sleeper, these are sort of a must. So yeah, do that. And then if you're a girl, a sports bra. I found this very useful. Again, like you're walking all day, you want to be comfortable. This was a little tight, so I just ended up walking most of the time with my regular bra. I bought just my one bra that I'm wearing now, and this sports bra that dries quickly. But yeah, so for girls, I would say 2 bras. If you're washing one, you're wearing the other. It's fun because sometimes you're sweating and then your backpack is stuck to your back. And anyway, just two bras for girls. I think it's enough. Underwear. Ooh, underwear. I'm not gonna show my underwear, but I brought 2 regular, like my regular cotton panties, and 3 disposable ones, which you can get online. And they sort of start falling apart. Okay, I'll show them. So this is like the disposable, and it's so gross now because it's clean, it's just falling apart because it's disposable. Oh, this one isn't so bad. There's another one that I have to throw away because they literally start falling apart. The reason I bring them is because they're very lightweight and they dry very quickly. So you can wash them at night, they'll be dry in the morning. So yeah, but then they can withstand a few washes, but they'll start falling apart after a week. So that's why I brought a couple of regular cotton ones, even though they take longer to dry. You still need your underwear, so that's that. This is very important. I would say, especially for girls. Guys maybe don't need toilet paper. Obviously, you don't need to bring a whole roll, but you are going to be peeing in the bushes pretty much throughout the Camino because there are no bathrooms, or there are few bathrooms for a lot of the stretches. So get ready, get used to peeing in the bushes, which is fun. It can be fun, especially when it's raining. I'm just kidding, it's fine. So yeah, just bring a little bit of toilet paper. Try this just being like conscientious. I can't pronounce all the words, I'm sorry. But yeah, just be mindful of the environment because some people just use way too much toilet paper. Like on my first Camino, when I first started using the bushes, I was actually keeping the toilet paper that I used in a little plastic bag, and then I was tossing it whenever I got to a town. Like I found a trash can, I wouldn't leave the paper on the ground. And then I realized that everybody else did that. So whenever you found like a good spot, you realize that a bunch of people had that thought before you, and there's a bunch of paper laying around, and it's pretty gross. And I'm like, why am I the only one like keeping this used toilet paper to throw it out later? It's just kind of gross, but it's like trying to be respectful to the environment. So anyway, I don't know if I should admit it, but I started tossing paper in the bushes as well, but just a little bit. And then I convinced myself that the rain was going to deteriorate it, and it was gonna like, yeah, maybe I'll cut this part out of the video because people are gonna judge me. But yeah, bring toilet paper, girls, like seriously. Yeah, you're gonna need it. And then obviously hand sanitizer for after you use the bushes. That's helpful. A scarf, I think this is useful for boys and girls. This is like a thin scarf, but also does its job. When it's cold, you can wrap it tightly around your neck. If it's windy, it will protect you, and it's not super heavy. This is something that I took out of my backpack on my first Camino because I thought I wasn't gonna need it. And then in the middle of the Camino, when I was in Burgos, the weather changed and I had to buy a scarf there. So this time I brought it, and I wore it almost every day. So you'll see like it packs pretty lightly. I'm wearing it most of the time. So this is like, and plus it's orange and bright, so it looks nice on photos. So that's nice. A Swiss knife. I found this useful. I used it on both my Caminos. Even if just to peel an apple at the side of the trail whenever you're taking a break. And I know this may sound silly for a lot of people, but for a girl, like a lot of the times when I'm walking by myself in the woods, I don't know where I am. I don't know like exactly how far I am from the closest town. I feel a little bit safer, even if it's just a psychological effect, to have like a little weapon with me just in case. So yeah, I never had to use it, thankfully, but I would recommend it. You can use it for different things. There's a bottle opener here. It's just one of those backpacking things that you bring with. It's not a must. It is a little heavy. You don't need to bring it, but I found it useful a bunch of the times. So yeah, that's that. A journal if you like to write. This is a must for me personally because I write a lot in all my trips since I was a kid. Like I like to write a lot. So this is like, I got this for free, so it's like hardcover. It doesn't have to be. I would recommend if you like writing, if you like journaling while you're walking and traveling, I recommend you get something a little bit smaller than this because this is heavy. But yeah, if you like to write, journal and a pen, it's always good. I always have it with me and I use it obviously. A Camino guide. This is the famous John Brierley guide, which is what most pilgrims use. Most pilgrims from the UK and Canada and the US, I think, use this one. I think Australians, I know Germans have their own. It varies a lot, but this is very popular. It's very useful. I mean, I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest, because I found as I walked that there's a lot of stuff that isn't mentioned, like a lot of decent accommodation that's pretty much right on the Camino that's not mentioned. I don't know if those places pay to be mentioned here. I don't think they do, because some of them are so simple, like the municipals and stuff, like they wouldn't. I don't know if the private ones do, but I found like sometimes there are certain places that I came across that were very nice and very useful to be aware of that are not mentioned here. But overall, this is very useful as far as like the distances, and it tells you how far you are from the next little town, or if you know, for the next little coffee shop. Sometimes you're going to be walking through pretty remote places, and this will tell you like how far you are from the next basically point where you can get help if you need. And he gives you distances, and I like that. So basically he has like, this is like the, how do you call it, the full version. He has a maps only version, which is basically half the size of this. So if you're interested in that, again, like I said, every ounce counts when you're packing for the Camino. So I would maybe next time just get the map version, because I like the reflections and the, you know, the stuff that he writes about each place and his thoughts and feelings about, you know, arriving there and stuff. So I find that interesting. That's why I bought the full version like I did for my first Camino. But yeah, so just be aware that if you want to lighten up your pack, there is a map only version that you can get, which is also very helpful. So that's that. Pants, I did not mention pants. So pants, I'll be quick because this is like, I feel like I've been talking forever. I'm gonna try to condense this. Well, at least my mom will watch it, like I said. So hope I still have battery on that phone. I don't even know if it's still recording. I'll be quick. I have 3 pants. This is like the underwear type that's like fleece line that I usually wear to sleep. Or if it's really cold, I wear it underneath this if it's cold and rainy, because I have like a rain pants, which I noticed most, I don't know if most pilgrims, but a lot of pilgrims don't walk with this. I bought it for a different trip many years ago, and I basically only wear it on the Camino, or if I'm doing something like I'll wear it in Alaska. But it's like, it was expensive, but and I don't wear it a lot, but when I do wear it, it's so useful and it's so helpful. It's basically plastic lined. It's sort of like ski pants, but they're lighter and thinner. And when it's raining, they will keep you dry, they will keep you warm. So I find it's very useful. I definitely recommend if you go in the same time of year that I'm walking, because it does rain a lot, so it's useful. So this is my rain pants, and if they get dirty or muddy, they're super easy to clean because it's basically plastic, and they dry quickly too, so that's good. Gosh, I'm gonna drink some water. And this is my everyday walking pants. These are from North Face. I got them a while ago. Yeah, I got this after my first Camino, and I convinced myself I was gonna come again. And I did. So this is like, I don't know what the fabric is, but it's like, it has pockets, it has elastic on the waist, it's super comfortable. They're made of, what are they made of? 95% nylon, 5% elastane. Yeah, just plain sporting walking pants. Also lightweight, also dries fast. Although I think I only washed it once, if that, on this Camino, because I pretty much wear them every day. So that's that. Hiking shoes I talked about. So I only brought 2 pairs of shoes, which is my hiking shoes, aside from having shipped them and getting a different pair. I also brought these. This is to get a break from the hiking shoes. So this is like rubber Crocs. On my first Camino, I had flip-flops. and it started getting cold. So basically at the end of the day, I would put the flip-flops on just to give my toes a break. But it was getting cold and rainy, so walking around the towns when it's raining and cold in flip-flops, it's not a lot of fun. So a friend of mine on my first Camino had this exact pair, and she lent them to me one day when it was raining, and I thought they were so comfortable. And I mean, not exactly rain shoes, but at least they cover your toes and they're lightweight. So when I saw this in LA a few years ago, and they were like on sale for $19, I'm like, I'm gonna get them for my next Camino. And they're very useful. You can shower with them at the albergues, they're dry quickly. So yeah, that's a nice option. Again, if you're going in the summer, just get flip-flops, like lightweight flip-flops, and you're fine. Another thing, gosh, I'm gonna break this video into two because it's too long. If I can edit. Your wallet. This is a heavy wallet. So on the Camino, you're trying to make your backpack as light as possible. So that means condensing everything as much as you can. So I would recommend, you know, those teeny tiny Velcro wallets that we had as kids. If you can, bring one of those. That's all you need. You don't, this is like an old leather wallet that I've had forever, and I just couldn't be bothered to get another one. So, but this is heavy, especially, you know, you put coins and paper and cards, and it seems silly to say this, but it does add up. So if you can get like a little kid's wallet for the Camino, I mean, you'll be fine with it. So again, that's another thing that I should have done differently. And if you're coming on the Camino, maybe you can learn from my mistake. In plural. Okay. So I think that's that. And when you're packing for the Camino, also consider that you're gonna be carrying water and snacks if you're carrying your backpack. There's a service, I think there's several different companies that does backpack transportation for you. So basically you can ship your backpack from town to town. So you don't have to carry it, you can ship it, and you can just walk with a day pack, which I have done a few times. There's no shame in that. I feel that pilgrims judge other pilgrims a lot when they ship their backpacks. And I used to be like that on my first Camino, and I saw people shipping their backpacks. I thought they were cheating. You're supposed to carry your weight. Do not ship your backpack. And it's just stupid. Like, why are they cheating? Who are they cheating? You know, like, you don't know. Maybe they're in a lot of pain. Maybe for whatever reason they want to ship their backpack. They want to walk with a lighter load. There's nothing wrong with that. So I wasn't going to do that. But as I was traveling with my mom, she convinced us to ship it, which was okay. So I got a day pack like this. I got this in Barcelos, which is a town on the Camino Portuguese. This was very useful. So this is reflective, which is very useful because on the Camino Portuguese, you're walking a lot on the side of the road, a lot more than on the Camino Frances. So having reflective clothing, reflecting backpacks, reflective, where's my rain jacket? Reflective rain jacket, which this wasn't, but I would recommend you get one. Very, very useful for your own safety. So this was like my little day pack. You just have your water, you have jacket, you have a snack. You have your cell phone to take pictures with. I didn't even take these. I just took a picture of the daily walk, and then the daily like the distances. And so I took a picture of like the pages of the day, and I just sent this with the pack when I ship the pack. So this is like a useful thing to have. And even if you're choosing to carry your backpack, it's nice to have a smaller pack. You know, when you get to a city and you want to walk around, obviously you don't want to walk around if you're a huge backpack, so you need a day pack. And since I didn't have this, I only had this. This is like, oh my god, it's already too much stuff. So again, learn. Don't do the same thing I did. This is very useful when you're traveling. So this was useful on my first Camino because on my first Camino, I was walking with my big backpack pretty much every day. So when you got to a town or to, you know, a city at night, you go out for dinner or whatever, I just had this little bag here, which has a lot of compartments. It's proper for traveling. It's very useful. but it's also painful if you're carrying it for a long time, and if you already have like a strain in your back from carrying your huge pack, having this thing across your shoulder is not the most comfortable thing. So I ended up wearing these a lot more, because this have like, it has like cushioning in the back. It has these things that you can tie around your hips to distribute the weight. So this was not super pretty, but very comfortable. So I wore this a lot. So that's that. So what I was saying is, when you're packing, look at the final weight of your pack and just remember that you're gonna have water and you're gonna have snacks, and that also adds to the weight of your pack. I don't recommend bringing, a lot of people do, and that's fine, but I think that's just extra weight that's unnecessary. Like your proper aluminum or stainless steel bottles that you can just fill up. I just buy these as I go along. I refill them as I go along. They're lighter, they're more practical. Might not be great for the environment, but for me it's about the weight, and I don't want to be carrying those like stainless steel bottles. Are very nice, but they're heavy. So, oh, but the BPA and this and that, you know, I don't know, can take it for a month or so. And then trekking poles, I have 2. On my first Camino I had none, and a very kind woman from France who I met at the Auberge at the in Saint-Jean gave me her. She wasn't walking the Camino, she had like a spare trekking pole, and she gave them to me and pretty much saved me up on the Pyrenees. So this time I bought a pair of very lightweight Lecky trekking poles. They pack a lot lighter, so they would fit in like a bag that's like this big, and they go right inside my backpack. So this, I got this on sale at REI for like $75 or something. They're not cheap, but they're very lightweight, and again, that's important, and they're very, very useful. Yeah, that's another thing that people ask about. Do you really need trekking poles? And I used to think that's very silly, like, oh no, you can just, but yes, you do. If you're walking in the city, not so much, but you're going uphill, you're going downhill a lot. Not so much on the Camino Portugues as on the Camino Frances, but they're still useful. They're very nice to have. I learned that the hard way, basically. That's that. And then obviously your toiletry bag, it's gonna vary greatly from person to person. I would say the main thing, like if you have any medication that you're taking, that's obviously something you need to carry. But and then obviously toothpaste, toothbrush, bring everything small. Little shampoo, little conditioner. I don't bring any makeup at all, because that means you need to bring makeup remover and cotton balls and this and that. So I mean, again, I don't want this to get too long. I can do a video just on my toiletries if anyone is interested. But this time I managed to make my toiletry bag a lot lighter than on my first Camino, but it's still probably, aside from this guy here, the heaviest, bulkiest thing in my backpack is my toiletry bag, no matter how light I try to pack it. So that's that. I think that's it. That's my Camino packing. So when I came on the Camino, I weighted my bag before I came, and it was roughly 6 or 7 kilos, which is pretty good, because on my first Camino it was 10 kilos before water and snacks. So I managed to pack a lot lighter. And then you buy a little thing here and there, and then like you buy, and it looks like nothing, but you buy your competes, which I can talk about. You buy little things, and then suddenly you like have 3 kilos more in your backpack, which is unnecessary. So just remember, I think the main thing to be thinking about when you're packing for the Camino is to make it light. Don't bring any books aside from your guidebook and your journal if you like to write. What else? Don't overstuff it. My backpack is like 46 liters, I think it was, and that's something that we can talk about as well. But yeah, I think that's that. So happy Camino. I'm here to answer any questions if anybody has any. So in summary, pack light. Bon camino!